So James is showing what he's going to review, I guess. And I'm not actually going to talk for very long, so I'm going to read a poem that I scratched out. I decided, nope, this one's no good. Because I was trying to write a pantoon, and you're supposed to give a description of nature or whatever, and then an explanation for what you've described. So you do 2 lines description, 2 of explanation, and I was very frustrated. I finally got one to work yesterday, but basically I spent all day.
Was that nice one that you...
Yeah, I bet.
That was a good
I'm
one.
glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I kept asking my angels, and they were like, nope. And, so I had to keep going back and revising, and eventually, in the middle of the night, with a little bit of sleep, after a little bit of sleep, I woke up and I was like, oh, okay, and I finished it off, and it went well. So, but this one didn't work. This just one that I was going to call a fresh beast, but it wasn't working, so I scratched it out. Fall rain made still air fresh today, and all the golden elm leaves here appear so new. I love relaxing afternoons in fall, with chores postponed and nothing much to do. Reflected in the newly fallen rain beside our blue ceramic plates, I see a shy but golden memory again, the harvest sun that shines on you and me. And then I just crossed it out, and I decided that's it, because it's not a pantoon. It wasn't what I was aiming to write, but it's I would like to write pantoons, but since I haven't written them, they're not what I write. I forget while I'm like, I might have this idea, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then it just goes, and I just start writing, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. So, and I'm having trouble today in the same way, because I'm doing today I'm doing a folia, which James had assigned me a long time ago, and not only do I have to worry about secondary accents in this, but I have to, this one is an assonance assignment, which
my heavens, yeah.
I'm not accustomed to working with assonance, so then I start rhyming, and I'm like, no, I don't want to mix rhymes and assonance. It's not good. It turns out bad. So
then people start expecting to rhyme.
Yeah. So
the worst is starting out rhyming and then getting tired.
Yeah, and then using
drifting
assonance.
off
That's worse. But I mean, it shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be mixed. If if you have some rhymes and those are always the place where the rhymes are, then that's okay. But if it's sometimes assonance and sometimes rhymes, no good. It doesn't work. It looks lazy.
Boy, oh boy. This time of year for guys screaming around in cars. I ran across one study that indicates guys' testosterone is the highest late summer, early fall.
Really?
Well,
Maybe
the car test kind of maybe corroborates it somewhat.
Maybe that's why there's, or maybe the testosterone is why. Anyway, I guess that's a lot of people are getting it on.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that's the most popular.
One of the things that happened at university is you'd see new couples would be breaking up, and new kind of liaisons were
forming. Yeah.
That car, God, was it going around the block several times?
Well, we're creatures of our biology. We're just.
I don't know. I think
we're kind of. I don't know. There's a lot of chemistry involved with how a person behaves.
There is, but I think a person should be able to control it a little bit. I don't think
this
there's
one's
a connection
an Elvis hair
between testosterone and a lead foot. Does it all go down to, as soon as a guy gets in a car, it all goes down to the soles of the feet, or the toe?
I think it would be.
Maybe. I don't know. No excuse for it.
Well, I don't think they can really help it so much. Some people are driven by their hormones even more than others.
Well, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to drive it.
All
I
right.
played soccer with idiots like that, and they shouldn't be allowed to play soccer. They're out there injuring people who show them up,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's too bad, but what do you do?
Well, you don't let them drive. And the way you do it is, instead of allowing them 19 or 20 demerits or 18 or whatever it is, you know, down
Well,
to
if
8,
you waited
down to
until,
5.
you know, if people didn't get a driver's license until they were 25, things would be a lot different.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah. Anyway.
See, how many demerit points have you ever got in your life? I'm kind of putting you on
Zero.
this one. 0, me too.
Yeah,
So
I've never gotten a parking ticket. I've never gotten any kind of ticket.
I got one parking ticket, but that was because I was kept at a hospital
Yeah.
for longer than they should have. But
But luckily,
they didn't charge
they
me
didn't
any
charge
money
you
on
anything.
that one.
Yeah, that
It was
nice.
around the time of COVID.
Anyway, no, it could happen. I mean, I don't understand why it hasn't happened, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Getting a ticket?
Yeah.
Well, some people are always, you know, cheating and whatever, and they're going to
Because
get
there
it.
have been times where I have sped and stuff like that.
Oh, you're talking
Like,
about that kind of thing. No.
Like,
I'm talking
especially
about
passing on the highway. I pass very fast. I don't like to pass, and when I do, I get it over with quickly.
Yeah.
So, I'll admit
It's-
that.
Well, it's a person has to stay in control, but get it over quickly. We don't want to be hanging out in that.
No.
In case you made a mistake. That's why I don't like passing on corners, especially ones that go off to the right. Because
No. Yeah.
it's so
Gotta pick a
easy
good
to
spot,
miss
get it done
someone
fast.
if you're scanning along a big long curb. It's a lot harder to miss if you're passing on a straightaway. And it's really hard to miss if, especially if you're passing something fairly long or something.
And honestly,
down
it's
on a
very
highway.
frustrating. Like here in southern Alberta, there's a lot of farmers who
Oh, man.
will drive their equipment on the highway that goes from Lethbridge to Waterton. What is that highway
Carts,
called?
really.
Well, sure. Okay, from Cardston to
I think it's Highway 5.
yeah.
Boy, oh boy, what is it about these idiots? It's coming from every direction. Lousy drivers.
But honestly, there should be like I can't say that they're doing anything wrong. I don't think there's any law against it. It's just that it's only one lane on each side, you know, for the high traffic going along that highway. And oftentimes there'll be like, I mean, people drive poorly along that highway.
Very
anyway.
badly.
But
Every time
to
we
mix
see
in
someone
with the
in the ditch, we go,
farm equipment, it's can be really interesting.
how many did we
Anyway.
count in a row coming back in the evening the other day?
Oh,
6 in a
yeah.
row?
We
5
were
in a row?
very
Big
thankful we weren't
combines?
going the other way, because I mean, we would have had to pass because
They were going so
they
slow.
were going so slowly, of course, and there were so many of them. It would have been terrible.
Yeah.
But luckily, we were going the other way. But I mean, we still had to watch
Yeah.
for people passing. Right?
Relatively lucky.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, it should be really, there should be a law that large equipment, you know, like you never see house movers moving houses in the middle of the day on a highway, right? Like they have specific times when they do it. And you would think that with farm equipment, because it's large like that too,
The big ones, like the
That-
combines.
yeah,
I don't
that
care
it
if
would-
they're moving a tractor or whatever.
sure, that you'd think it would be the same sort of rules, that they do it at a specific time of day only. But I don't think there are any rules about that. So,
They do have ability to move at night. We'll see them
oh sure,
sometimes combining in the middle of the night to big Klieg lights on their
yeah.
combines.
But I suppose maybe they feel protected in their, and maybe they are, in their
Well,
in their combines.
of course, what are
If
you
they
going to
get
do?
hit.
Like you, if
But-
you hit them from the front, you'd end up just getting chewed up, almost like in being combined yourself.
Anyway, whatever. So I didn't expect to talk about that. I was going to
Yeah.
talk about the last was it the last 3 seasons think
The
I only
last
did
3 seasons, the last
I
man
did
standing.
2. No, I only watched 1 season. No, 2 seasons. 2 seasons. So I did 2 season review and now another 2 seasons. So this brings me to the end of season 4. And I actually enjoyed watching the episode. Like, I can't really remember. I think the show wasn't called Tool Time. I think it was called Home Improvement. Is that right?
I can't remember.
I think the show within the show was
It's
called
called Tool Time. There we go.
But I
See?
don't think the show was called.
I thought it was well named because I
Anyway.
thought Tim Allen was a tool,
Yeah.
both in real life and the
And
characters.
well, they made him out to be a tool in that show,
Okay.
and in this one they don't. In this one, he plays a different character. He's not a handyman or somebody who's pretending to be a handyman. In this one, he works at an outdoor man's store.
Like
so
a supply.
yeah,
What do they call it?
they
They
sell
sell guns
guns and boats
and guns and
yeah, and so and
tents
hunting
and guns.
equipment, the camouflage stuff and whatever, lots of things. Sure. So he works at a store like that. He's a manager and he's really good at marketing.
So he's a manager, eh?
Yes. So
he still is making kind of stubby type of remarks or what
yes.
some people would take
So
as stubby.
this is not the kind of show that I'm not their target audience. This would be for men to watch, right?
And a particular
and-
type of man, because
Yeah.
I think I'd enjoy it less than you.
Yeah. Whereas and a particular type of man, yeah, not James either. So which is I did find it interesting that this is not the same sort of audience that his last show was. Well, I guess he's done movies and stuff, whatever.
You might be right.
Yeah. Because they did little things like they had the Toy Story poster up in his boss's office, in his boss's entertainment room, whatever you call it. And I thought, well, that's silly. I mean, it's because the boss it doesn't seem appropriate that the boss would have that as a poster in his personal entertainment room, right? But it's also kind of funny because and then there's other things like there are guest appearances from other characters that were on his other show, the Home Improvement show or whatever that was called. And I actually enjoyed that. I enjoyed the one where his wife from that was in it. It was nice. And I don't know. I laughed a few times. And,
Quite a few times, actually.
Yeah.
I was
so,
surprised.
And
Every time.
I'm not into the filmed in front of a live studio audience sort of thing.
Well,
but
it's filmed in front of a live audience, but they don't say the laughter is live.
no, it's
as canned
it's
as
as
can
canned
be.
as can be.
It's like very bad baked beans canned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are some political things that
Wow, I was
bother me in
amazed.
this. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, how are they even getting away with
Nowadays, I don't
saying
think they
these
could.
things, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, this isn't that long ago.
I know, 10 years ago maybe.
Yeah,
They're
maybe.
talking about Obama, so
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be
Obama
around
made
that
it
time,
up
I
until
suppose, but-
2016.
But I mean, not only that sort of thing, but like talking about his wife is a geologist and she's a really nice person, and she's talking about how there's all like the information that you're hearing about fracking is just lies and stuff, that it's like,
She's saying that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say things like that on television.
So that's another side of things.
So
right?
yeah, it's I've heard a lot of things in here that I never thought I'd hear on TV. But whatever.
Now there was one character on there who's about as politically correct as a terminal commie, but
Oh,
right?
the young man
boy,
who's I think he's supposed to be kind of like Meathead off of
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what reminded me of
yeah.
the confrontations between Meathead and Archie Bunker.
Yeah, only
Carol
with
O'Connor.
only with All in the Family, you got well, maybe some people didn't know, but they were actually making fun of Archie Bunker, right?
I think they were making fun of both guys. I hope.
Yeah.
No, I was
I don't
always
know, I
going
hope
go
so,
Meathead, go, but I
yeah,
think they're
he's
both
a
pretty
loser
easy.
too. But anyway, in this, they're not making fun of Tim Allen's character at all.
I don't seem
So
to be.
no.
I think they're trying to expose an open wound in not just American society, but Western society. It's worse here in Canada.
Yeah, I don't know, because I was watching this and there was one episode where they were trying to get a hold of incandescent light bulbs because they couldn't buy them anymore, and they were like contraband, and because all you could get were them. Anyway, and I thought, well, I think we can still buy incandescent light bulbs here.
Okay, that's a new one.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. Just went flying by singing something interesting.
It sounded like something. I haven't heard something like that since I was in Africa.
Yeah, well,
60
that's
years
funny
ago.
because I was just thinking about how I miss the birds. You know, I miss the warblers and that, right? I mean, there's still a lot of birds around, but there's the warblers aren't here, and the pelicans are gone, and
Oh,
you
mean
know.
like on Lethbridge? I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about your yard.
Oh well, I hear too, right? But
Yeah, well, it's the time of the season.
But the warblers, I mean, they're such characters. I miss them so much, the yellow warblers. They're so silly and playful and friendly, and you know, like if I was out on the deck, they'd come over and they'd be they'd almost be looking at drinking out of his glass here, because you know they're
It's
just
amazing the
really
different
friendly.
personality.
Yeah,
Nuthatches are kind of, they want
shy.
to be friends.
Yeah, they
but
want
they're
to be,
shy.
but they're shy.
And they will come. to
Yep.
someone. The chickadees, I was reading somewhere about chickadees coming to someone's head. I don't know, maybe in another continent. It's stunning how tame they are. It's not like they tame us, they tame themselves.
Yeah. Anyway.
And the downy woodpeckers, I was absolutely flabbergasted the first time.
Yeah.
One
Me too.
came down. I
never
shook
would've
him off my hand. He was so big.
Yeah. You don't expect a woodpecker to be so friendly.
Yeah.
But because I'm sure they could do a lot of damage with their beaks if they wanted to, but they
Oh
they
yeah.
have no
Oh,
interest
they're
in
so
that.
gentle.
Yeah.
You know.
Sweetest birds.
Like Gordy and Roberta, they will stand like this and kind of look soulfully in your eyes and stuff like that. Take their time when they take the food.
But anyway, I'm gonna have a hard time rating this. I really don't. I would have to say rated mature, because this you got to look into the information yourself. There's a lot of political stuff in here and whatever, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different kind of mature rating. Like, actually, to discuss things politically nowadays requires a lot of maturity.
Yeah.
I mean, there are scary militia types. You're wondering if your life is safe, and there are scary, not just Antifa types. There are scary people. You know, you don't know if your job, for example, would be safe or something.
Yeah, but I mean, there's things like it's quite common when they pull in a dead bird in the kitchen. You know, they've went out and shot some wild game, and so you see like, I mean, they may not be real. They may be, but I don't see why. I mean, they could use just props, but you'll see like a dead mallard or a couple dead pheasants or a bag full of dead pheasants, right? Like the and there's one episode where the teenage daughter who's into designing clothing, she's realized that the pheasant feathers have value for like in terms of designing their use in designing clothing, hats and such. And I thought, they didn't even touch on it, but I guess they wouldn't, because that's not the audience that they're aiming for. But if it was like an audience aimed at like if the audience was anyone else but who they're aiming at, then they would talk about or make some jokes about how she's going to make birds endangered from hats again, because I mean that used to happen. Birds were losing a lot of their numbers to hat designers.
Yeah.
Because women were wearing these fancy hats with the feathers and stuff, and
Yeah, maybe 125 years.
yeah, and now
Maybe 100 years.
luckily people stopped designing hats with all the feathers, and but anyway, so they didn't, it was just like, oh wow, yeah, here she is with a whole bunch of, like, she's gotten into hunting now because she wants the feathers, right? And she's just blasting them out of the sky. But anyway,
Could happen.
well, I don't know what goes on with, I wonder about, I mean, sometimes you'll see signs along the coulee trails that are shot. Somebody's shot into the signs, and I can only imagine that they're out there hunting for birds, right? Because what else would they be doing there with the gun?
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to. I mean, nobody's supposed to fire even a BB gun in the city, but I guess some people do, because there's evidence of it.
I have
find
actually
right?
seen someone
and
firing
you
a
find
BB
shotgun
gun.
shells sometimes too when you're walking along and you're like, huh,
Yeah.
what in the world? Like, were they going deer hunting? Like honestly, it's, so I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Still, I laughed, so that's that. Oh, sounds like there's a hawk around here. So I guess you're going to talk about some Nazis again, or what's your plans there?
So I'm going to re-preview this Nazi thing. I was about 80 pages short yesterday. Maybe I'm only 20 short.
And what do you have there?
Bожественная liturgia. So that's liturgy. Bogi. For some reason or other, certain situations, the Slavic people change.
So what is that, Russian or Ukrainian?
It's Ukrainian, that's very good.
Okay.
So when we say a Boogeyman, we're really talking about God. The Slavic word for God.
Really? Huh.
Indo-European language. Baghdad. Dad is related to data, which is again Latin. Given. Bag is related to bogey. Russian. It's Iranian, basically. Persian, Farsi. And it means the gift of God, if I'm not mistaken. Indo-European language. So that's donated by St. Basil's, but not here in town. Ukrainian Catholic Women's League. St. Basil's Parish, Edmonton, Alberta. So there's a strong.
Well, I've always
Edmonton
kind of
community.
thought that God is really in the mind of the beholder. It's like, I mean, you don't think of a bogeyman as being an all-loving.
Well,
whatever.
they used to have many gods, right? There's a Slavic god called Perun, who's kind of like a thunder and lightning god.
Oh, really?
So those kind of people, those kind of critters would be considered bogeyman.
Oh, okay.
Christians, but that might have been how that happened. Okay.
Okay.
So this is, I can remember seeing, oftentimes when you get certain types of Slavic languages, you get 2 syllables, O-O. But the other version of it, and I think it's the Holy Slavic thing, they'll change the O-O into 1 syllable as Zlat. Zoloto, that means golden. Zlat. So I can remember running across I think it was a river, a place name in Russia called Zlatoust. I used to say Zlatoust because I didn't know, because I just saw it transcribed in English. But you see how they got Zolotoustovo, St. John Chrysostom. So this is Chryso is like gold, and stomata.
Mouth.
Yeah, it's mouth. Stomach apparently comes from the same root. How they got stomach out of mouth, I don't know.
I don't know, because your mouth ends up putting things down there.
That'll be it. Anyway, there's Joanna. And so that's the Divine Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom, or St. John Goldenmouth. And it's put out by the Synod
baby.
of the Hierarchy of
Look
the
who we
Ukraine.
have up there.
Is it a
Little nuthatch.
nuthatch? There we
Yeah.
go. Very shy.
Yeah, very shy.
Didn't like having 4 eyes
No,
on
he
it.
didn't.
Many birds are
Here
that
we
way.
go. It's a warbler. Holy crap, it's a warbler.
Come on,
I
guy.
was thinking they were gone, and here he is.
There
Hi,
we go.
sweetie.
He might maybe heard you.
Yeah, I
Can
think
you go
he
for
did.
it, guy? Or gal?
I'm so glad I saw one today. It wasn't the yellow warbler. It was the one that looks grayer that I figured out what he was earlier this year, but I've forgotten again.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't see the yellow. I was wondering
I'm going to
about
go get my book, and I'm going to figure out what he is while you're...
that. So this was
looking
put
at
out
it.
by the Ukrainian Catholic Church. So some of the Ukrainians actually are Catholics, and not
Oh, I guess I may as well take that.
Eastern Orthodox. I think this was put out in Toronto. Yeah, Lisgar Street, Toronto. But that's where it was printed. But it looks as though it was put out by the hierarchy, the Ukrainian Catholic Church in Philadelphia. So it comes from the United States. So I just started doing it just a few minutes ago, and I'm doing okay actually. So it's quite nice. It's got the original Ukrainian over here, and then
Now
it's
to
got the
find where he is.
translation in
And I
English
don't want to
on the facing page.
miss out on seeing birds either if they come by.
No.
All right, so you're going to continue to talk.
Okay, so from the divine, literally, to the ridiculous, the stupid Nazi guys. So I'm going to now. Yesterday, some of you folks might have been listening, and
Orange-crowned Warbler. That's who he is.
there we go. Did you see an orange crown?
No, I never do,
Yeah.
but I see
I didn't
that
either.
he's like, they say dull olive green upper parts, but it looks kind of grayish compared to the other ones. That's what he is. And he hasn't gone back yet. Thank you, my angels and God, for bringing the orange-crowned warbler here again. I would have tried to turn the camera around so you could see him, but he would have flown off anyway. I don't
Yeah,
have
they
luck.
get very paranoid about it.
Yeah, I don't
I
have
know.
luck showing birds to the camera.
Okay, so here is a testament